Oops. I'm not in the shot. There I am. You're holding it all up. Oh, you're doing sucking in your gut? Hello, everyone. Hope you can see us and hear us okay.
Laura didn't do a good job at the top.
What? What's there to take off the top?
My hair sticks up.
Oh, okay. What, hair A or B? Anyways, let's see who is here. We have got Lydia is here. Diana from Chile, Bermuda. I don't think you know Chile. Dan is here. Em is here. Lydia's here. Oh, we already said Lydia. Jan. Yeah. Okay, we've got 3 out of the 4 in the coven are here.
Lydia.
Donna's here. I said Lydia. Yeah. Are you listening? No, apparently not. Janet's here. Ron's here. Patsy is here. What's this? Walter's so dreamy, Ron says. And Dana says, oh, Ron, you're going to make Stephen jealous. Now, tell you what, Ron, if you think he's that dreamy that when we come down in June to the East Coast, I'll leave him there.
I don't know. I'm the one driving. I'd be kicking
I can drive. I'll just get the keys and run.
You can? I don't know.
No, go away. Patsy says, hello from rainy Mississippi, warm but wet. Happy birthday, Walter.
Thanks for the birthday wishes.
And Diana says, sorry, I'm complaining about the temperature at 66 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's hot. Pamela's here. Hi, Pamela. She also says, happy birthday, Walter. And Kathy's
Thank
here.
you.
Hi, everyone from Iowa, 15 Fahrenheit here, -9 Celsius. Yeah, that's chilly.
I don't know what we are today. I think we're -1.
What are we?
-1.
Oh, well, so it's warm here. Jan says, happy birthday,
just below
Walter.
freezing.
Angel's here. Hi, Angel. And Priscilla says, hi from Mississauga. Anna, go Philadelphia. Oh, this isn't Super Bowl weekend, is it? I don't know. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I don't follow football. Patsy says, my dad used to say he had a crew cut and the crew had jumped out. Sherlock's here. Hi, Sherlock. Kathleen, hi. Suzanne, hello. Purple Wall is here. Hello. Shirley is here. Oh, so Shirley, you left the other one we were on earlier. I see. Sue's here. Saying happy birthday. So is Mozilla. And Diana says happy birthday. Sly is here from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And Barb is here. And Jen is here. Green Quilts galore. More happy birthday greetings coming in.
Wow, all these happy birthdays. Keep got a bunch on Facebook too. Thank you everybody for all the birthday wishes.
It's also because I put it in the title of today's thing.
Okay.
And I mentioned it in the preview. Hi, So Terry. Playoffs. Anna says it's playoffs. Okay, still mean very little to me. Marchan is here from Florida. Happy belated, she says, to her birthday twin.
It's technically it's not my birthday today. It was on Friday.
It was Friday. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about it later. Em says Steven's too big a YouTuber. Soon it's not possible to address everyone.
Yeah.
That's true. Christine is here. Hi. But I like to let people know that we appreciate that they take the time to come on here and join the conversation because, why would we do it? If nobody was coming along here or responding, there'd be really no point for us to go on here. We'd be talking to ourselves. Although there are times. So anyways, everybody, let's get started. So yes, Friday, it was Walter's birthday. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on, but I know the fan club are just dying to hear about his birthday and hanging on every moment of it. Heidi's here. Melena's here.
No beard today. We're going out for dinner.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. Yeah, so we're not drinking anything except Walter's got water and I've got sparkling water.
Well, I have sparkling water.
I have a boobly. Yep. And Mozilla likes that too. So I want to show you Walter's quilt.
No hangover.
No hangover, Jan. You wish. Walter made a quilt once. how many years ago is this now?
I don't know. This was quite a way.
At least 3 or 4. Might be 4. It was just shortly after I got into quilting that you decided to take a class and make a quilt. But he never finished it.
It's probably 3 because it took me a while before I did that. I took a beginner sewing class.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Too, right?
So he made a quilt, and it's been sitting on a shelf. He has it all pieced. And I said to him, well, why don't you just give it to me, and I'll throw it on Lucy, and I'll back it and put the batting in and quilt it for you. And every time I said it to him, he goes, well, I should try to do that myself. And I said, well, go ahead. I'll show you how to put it on, and away you go. But no, so finally he gave in and gave it to me. But then we had to pick out the quilt pattern, and we had to pick out the thread. Oh my God.
Oh, give me a break. It wasn't that bad.
You took half a day to figure it out.
No, I didn't.
It felt like it. Really. But anyways, and so I did the rest of it. So I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you to see here. And here is Walter's quilt.
It was, I think, a disappearing 9 patch or something.
It is called a disappearing 9 patch. And we got it all quilted for him, and I bound it as well. And it's quite nice. It's just sitting in a place of honor upstairs on what I now call the current quilt couch display. And there's about 4 quilts on that right now upstairs. But I'll show you what the back looks like. Here's a little close-up of it flipped over, the backing, and this is the pattern that Walter picked out, a little swirly thing. And actually, it goes very well with this, because if you look here, these little things are all swirly little concentric circles. So that was a good choice. And here's a close-up. It's not a close-up. I thought I had another shot here. Let me just go and find this for a second, because I'm sure I had a close-up, and why am I not finding it? Yeah, there it is there. How come my thing wasn't moving to the next picture? I don't know. But anyways, I found it. Okay, let me get back here so other people can see. Okay, here's a close-up of the quilting. So, which worked out very nice on that quilt, I think. And Walter picked out his backing fabric. That's what he picked. Actually, you had the backing fabric.
I had the backing fabric a long time ago. I bought it a long time ago.
So anyways, that's Walter's first attempt at making a quilt. And, well, you've got another one, you said.
I have another one sitting there that I did, but I haven't put it together. I have the blocks made, but I haven't put them together, so.
Well, give me the blocks and I'll put them together. So let's see, what are people saying? That's very nice, Walter. Oh, let's back up a bit. Okay, where did I leave off here? Marianne is here. Hi, Marianne. Heidi's drinking a Fire Chief's Red Ale from the Pump House Brewery in Moncton, New Brunswick.
Oh wow.
Oh, we're going to Moncton.
We're going to Moncton, and actually, I think we're staying really close to the Pump House Brewery.
Oh, so are they a restaurant as well?
I think so.
Kind of thing, a pub kind of place. Maybe we'll go there and eat. Brenda's here from Waikiki. Quit rubbing that in, Brenda. And Jan says, I swear you guys read my mind. I've been wondering what your quilt looked like, Walter. Jan, I don't read your mind because it's just a short paragraph. I prefer novels. So... the purple wall, I'm just joking, Jan. Really? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Walter's just particular about the quality of his work. Prissy would be a better term. Katie is here. Hi, Katie. And Stephanie's here. She likes the colors. I kind of thought, Stephanie, you would like the colors because,
I mean, it shows up
and things.
Not quite as tealy, I don't think, on the monitor. As
No, it's a little more teal in the front of it. And Pamela says, it's all a process. Takes me time looking through all the quilting designs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very quick at picking things. Maybe sometimes too quick. I don't know.
Well, actually, it isn't really the design I wanted. But
well, what did you? Well, you wanted something.
I wanted something specific, but I didn't really want to get him upset for me.
Well, you didn't. You told me you wanted this triangle thing you saw that looked like.
Yeah,
well, I don't have it on Lucy.
Yeah, okay, fine.
So I don't know where you saw it. I said
it was a pantograph I saw.
Well, we could have gone on
Yeah,
to
okay, fine.
Urban Threads.
It just came out. It's
Urban
fine the way it is.
Fine. It's always something with him. Jesus. Whatever. Now, it says, Shirley says, won't say what I think about all the changes to our healthcare. Doctors say to go to the ER, go to your family. Yeah, we're going to talk about that actually a little bit. Everybody loves your quilt. I especially love the actual quilting of it. Mm-hmm. And I had problems when I was doing it. Yeah, if I had just finished a quilt, one of my quilts. No problems. Lucy cooperated. I get yours on there. About 2 rows in, Lucy wants to give me problems. But
Plus,
then,
wasn't the stitches and stuff like that not showing up on it? The number of stitches and stuff.
Yeah, on the computer program, it was weird. But then it came back and it worked. So, yeah, a little bit more, though, about that in a moment. Love the colors. Love the pattern, the colors. Good job. Everybody loves it. Loves it, loves it, loves it, loves it. Oh. Was Barb not well? I just saw, I didn't see Barb making a comment because Shirley's saying, glad to hear you're better. So.
I thought, was Barb the one that had COVID last time?
Oh, was that right? I think I forgot about that. Sorry about that. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Dana says, do I dare ask if you added a label? No. I have all kinds of labels. I never get around to labeling them. By the time I think of it, I'm finished it and I just can't be bothered anymore. I know everybody talks about the fact you should label your quilts, because in 100 years' time, people will want to know about your quilt. Well, that's probably true enough, but will I care at that point? Probably not. So I should label them. I know. I'm bad. Pamela says, Walter, the blue is very similar to what I was using on Stephen and Stephanie So Long. Oh, okay. I'm just looking down here. Oh, okay. The fabric cupboard in Moncton. I think I'm reviewing it. I think that's the one. There was one in Moncton that I saw, and I think I'm reviewing it on Tuesday. It'll be on Tuesday's thing. I didn't really have favorable things to say about it. I'm sorry, at least on the online. If that's the one I'm thinking of, I can't remember now exactly which one it is that I'm doing. But yeah. But maybe it's better. I did say in that review, though, of whatever one it was, that maybe it's different if you're there in person than on their online store. But I'm not sure if that was the one. Yeah, Heidi says the Pump House is a restaurant. They do an amazing steak finished with a pat of herb butter. They have a wood-fired pizza oven, and they do nice baked brie, and I highly recommend their beer bread. Yeah, sounds good. Well, we'll keep that one in mind then when we're there. Hi, Margaret. Oh, it was Shirley who was feeling unwell, but now she's better. Oh, Shirley, I didn't know you weren't. Oh, okay, I get it. I just read that wrong. Yeah, Shirley, I'm sorry that you weren't feeling well. I'm glad you're feeling better now, though. Keep kicking those high heels up there, right, Shirley? And some people will know what I'm talking about and others won't. And that's just as well, probably, about that one. Okay, so, yep, that's what Walter's been up to. And I do have a couple of pictures of projects I just finished. And let me see if I can... Oops, overshot. Okay, here we go. So this I showed you, I think, last week, but now it's completely done. It is now quilted, it is bound, it is done. It's sitting on the couch upstairs. It's the one I called Stars of Wonder. It's the one that has one little strip, one little block that's not really in the right way, one of the smaller little strips. And, you don't really see it. You don't notice it. You're all studying it now, trying to find it. Even Walter.
It is actually kind of difficult to find.
Yeah.
So.
It's just one little piece, and it doesn't disrupt the quilt or anything. I was a little pissed off that I had done that, but Walter never found it. The first one.
I didn't see it.
It was one of the subscribers. I forget who found it, and
somebody that's bigger than me.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, they apologize. It
No,
says,
no,
well, I
it's
don't want to
okay.
pull a Walter, but that's fine. He really can't see it, and I'm pointing it out to you. So I know you're all madly studying it right now, trying to find it. Kind of like, where's Waldo? And this is the backing I used, and I programmed Lucy to do feathers on the back, and that's what the feathers look like. A fairly like loose feather. But I'm really happy with it. It turned out pretty good. And then this one you have, wait, what's going on here? What am I doing? Okay, why does this not want to move? Okay, come back. This one, why did I show you this picture? Because that's, oh no, it's bound. This one you've seen before, but now it's completely quilted and completely bound as well.
That doesn't look like it's
But
bound.
maybe that's,
It hasn't been quilted either.
wait, well, what's down
That's
here?
an old one.
No, I got the wrong picture. I'll show that. Okay, how did I get the wrong pictures today? I'm losing it.
Well, I could have told you.
No, we'll be quiet. Let's go back to us for a second. See if I can really find you the picture that I wanted to show you. Where am I going to go here? I'm going to go here, and or maybe I showed that last week.
I think you did.
Did I show that one last week?
I think you did.
Because I think I had it done.
See
last.
there, it's folded over and stuff.
I may have showed you guys this last week. Okay, there it is. What's it's bound, and now you can see, yeah, the quilting in it, and that's what. That's all I've got. Come back here. Okay, so yeah, that's the quilting I did on it, but I can't remember when I finished this one. I think I finished it during this past week, because that was the one that I had. No, it was the start. Anyways, if you've seen it before, I apologize, but it's worth a second look. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, people. Okay, so those projects that I was working on, and I'm going to show it tomorrow. I haven't got it done yet, but I've been working on the Cleopatra fan block, which is one of the AccuQuilt dies that I bought, and I'm doing a table runner with that. I was using it more or less to try and see how that die works, and because there's a lot of curves in a Cleopatra's fan. But actually AccuQuilt makes it pretty easy to sew the curves. So, but that I'm going to show on Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. Okay, so you may have noticed we did not do a Sew Chatty this week. I'd like to say it was because it was Walter's birthday on Friday, and that's why we didn't do it. And that wasn't really the reason. The real reason was we didn't know what to talk about. We're out of topics for Sew Chatty.
And partially was my birthday because I had my sister drop in.
Yeah, that's true. And we had company later.
We had company later,
so here's an appeal to you people. If you can think of something that you would like us to talk about on So Chatty, please let us know. Just send it to me as an email or put it in the comments in here or whatever. And because I was really scratching my brain trying to come up with something, because we've talked about a lot of different things and running out of things to talk about on that. So anyways, we didn't do one in the past week. I had half an idea of something to do, but it was a half-assed idea, and I figured, yeah, that's stupid. And it was too close to something we had talked about once before on it. So yeah, so if you guys have ideas, let us know. Just looking at the chat here. Cheryl's here. Hi, Cheryl. And she says, happy birthday, Walter.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for saying happy birthday.
Persetta says she goes every time she's in Moncton to visit her sister and always had pleasant visits, reasonable prices. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's the same one that I've reviewed or not, but I figure, actually, are they the place too? They seem to sell a lot more fabric for regular sewing than for quilting. I think that, at least on their website, I think if that is the one. Just give me a second here and I'll tell you which one I'm doing. I'll look at my notes. Nope, that wasn't the one. The one I reviewed is Patch Halifax, it's called. So that wasn't even in Moncton. So I don't think I've done anything with one in Moncton. So no, so it's completely a different shop. So I may have to look into that and check it out. Okay. So pretty, it's gorgeous. Yeah, stars are my signature. Oh, Heidi says the stars of Wonder Quilt just makes me sigh in happiness every time. Well, that's a nice compliment. Heidi says, Stephen, have you ever attached a border with a bias seam, and why or why not? Have you ever made a tutorial for that, or could you recommend one? Okay, I'm not absolutely sure what you mean by a border with a bias seam. If you mean you're attaching two strips together for your border and you attach them on the bias, I have done that. In fact, that's how I do all my borders. If the piece has to be longer than, than you can get out of one piece and you have to attach strips together, then I attach them on the bias. And by that, I mean diagonally is what you're talking about, right? I very seldom attach two strips together for a border just on the straight. I don't like that look. It kind of blends in, at least in my opinion, it blends in better if you do it on the biased. Now, if you're talking about doing a border the strips have all been cut out on the biased, so there's stretch to them. I've done that with binding, more so for a bag, go around curved edges on it, but I've never done it with a quilt. So I'm not sure which one you mean. I'll be showing it, Pamela. Actually, I'm going to be showing whatever I get done by Tuesday in Tuesday's video. Original Stitches is here. Hello, Original Stitches. Jan says, I missed you guys on Friday. Yep. Well, you know why we weren't here. Yeah, Purple Wall's asking, Heidi, do you mean like a mitered corner? Because that's a little different if that's what you're talking about. And yes, I have done a mitered corner, and I don't do them very often. I like the look of them, but they can be very tricky when you're doing it on a quilt because of the way you have to fold the quilt over to get the 45-degree angle, and they're a little tedious. So I tend to, by the time I get to the border on a quilt, I'm tired of the quilt, so I don't want to spend more time doing a mitered border. They do look nice though. Oh, Marianne's husband's birthday is today as well. He's 60. Well, he's just a young lad. Walter's a senior citizen officially now. Patty G is here. And okay, Heidi, it is a mitered corner. Yeah, I have not. Yes, I have done it, as I already said. I'm not comfortable doing a tutorial about it. Mainly not because they're really, really difficult. They'd be really, really difficult to video, like in my setup. That's why. I essentially have to get down on all fours on the floor and fold things around and roll around in it for a while and then get things mixed up. And so, no, but there's some really good videos on YouTube of how to do it. Check out, just do Mitered Corners, Fawns and Porter. That's where I saw it. And that video is very clear, very easy to follow. That's the one that I've used. Hi, Jeannie. Okay, the coven's all here.
Walter's best senior citizen, we know. Actually, he's older than I am, so.
Only by 6 months. Right now, we're the same age. We're both 65. My birthday's not till July. Anna says Donna Jordan has a good mitered corner tutorial. Yeah, I never thought about Donna Jordan. I imagine her videos for that would be very, very good because all her videos are great. Nadia's here.
Thank you, Jeannie.
So, anyways, moving on. So, we talked about why we didn't have a So Chatty. I did do an interview that'll come out on Tuesday with Danny from So Not an Expert. And she is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I think you're really going to love the interview. But today, she was celebrating 1 year of having a YouTube channel. In fact, it's still going on now. She was doing a live. And she was working on a project, and I've been on there most of the day with her. She started it at 11:30 Eastern time, 10:30 Central, because she's in Central time. She's in Illinois, I believe. And she has a really cool thing she does. You can earn thimbles, they're called. It's a point system. And she has this bot all set up so that as you earn thimbles as you're online and as you're chatting. But she also has a slot kind of game, a slot machine type of game where you bid so many and you don't necessarily win more. You can lose too. I managed to amass over 11,000 points today. So that was pretty good. But there's prizes. And you can cash in your thimbles for different prizes. And she has a ranking. I think if you had 10,000 points, you could get a fat quarter. If you had 20,000, you get a notion. And it went up from there. But I thought it was really a lot of fun. In fact, something that was only going to take me an hour to do while this was on took me 2 hours because I kept going back to it. It was kind of addictive. But it was a lot of fun. She hasn't been quilting that long, only 2 years. But boy, she's massed a lot of knowledge about quilting. She was doing foundation paper piecing today, doing a log cabin. And some of you were there. I know Shirley was there. Speaking of high points, looked like Shirley had something like 19,000 points. And you can go, and she had giveaways, major giveaways. Now, this was because it was a special event, why she was doing some, like, giving away full jelly rolls, layer cakes, things like that. Yeah, I didn't win anything, but that's okay. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And I thought this was a neat thing. And I asked her how she does this. Well, she goes through a different system than we do for doing her live. She goes through Stream something. Forget now what's called. Steam. No,
Steam-a-scene?
not Steam-a-scene. So, anyways, it was something like that, and it has this bot that automatically does this kind of stuff that you can tap into. I was looking actually earlier into bots that you can use to moderate your system. I haven't quite figured out how to hook that up yet, but if someone comes on who's also a creator, and I see this on other people's lives all the time, I guess you just can put in something and it'll pop up and show you what their address is to their YouTube channel or whatever. I'll have to investigate that more and see how that all works. So that's it, Streambot. Yeah, Streamlabs. It's Streamlabs, Barb. That's right. Yeah, that's what it was called. Heidi says, thanks to everyone for suggesting Donna Jordan. I do follow her and I will seek out a Mitered Corner video soon. Hello, Lucy B. Lucy 7B. Love your shirts and thank you for your time. These shirts?
No, they're just off the rack stuff.
They're off the rack. Probably Mark's Work Warehouse. So yours is probably Kirkland.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah.
I haven't made too many long sleeve shirts, so I usually make short sleeve shirts, so we don't have too much for the winter. So
no, I only have one long sleeve shirt that you made.
Yeah.
But Jan says I don't find mitered corners hard. You need quite a bit more fabric to do the corners, though. Yeah, you do. They're not hard, but what I find with them is because I'm geometrically challenged, is when I have to fold that quilt over to find the 45 degree, and then you got to mark, a 1/4 inch away from the corner to get the thing around to it. I sometimes sew it backwards or whatever, then I have to rip it out and do it again. Yeah, I mean, they're not hard, but they're tricky. Okay, now the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I don't do them that often, but I have done them. But Donna Jordan, I'm sure, will have an excellent tutorial about it. Hers are always so clear and well done. So like I said, do check out Danny's So Not an Expert on YouTube. Just do a search for it. But next week when on the Idiot Quilter, I will have the link for her in my show notes as well. She does a lot of tutorials and things, and she needs some subscribers. She only has 359 subscribers, so I'm hoping to help her boost her subscriber base as well, because I think it's worth checking her out. Lucy 70 says the shirts are very tasteful. No cuffs on short sleeves. I'm just Lucy really. Oh, okay, Lucy. Just Lucy really. Oh, okay. You are now called Lucy really. uh, we have a fond spot for the name Lucy, you know, because of.
Yeah, the cuffs are a bit of a pain on long sleeve shirts.
But you managed to do them.
Yeah, it's just that it ends up taking longer. So
yeah. So speaking of other things and support, I am doing something I have never done before. I have a sponsor. Sewers Club. Now you've heard me talk about Sewers Club. Sewers Club is a subscription box site, and you know that I'm about to get my third box in another week or so from them. And I get the 15 fat quarter stash box, they call it. They're local in that they're in Brampton, which is a place just north end of Toronto, basically, in the city north of Toronto, actually north of Mississauga, which is east of Toronto, west of Toronto. Not far from us, really. They do have a brick and mortar store, but I've been fairly happy with the 2 boxes I've already gotten. And I noticed that they were advertising American creators. Actually, I first heard about it from Stephanie's YouTube channel. And you know, when you do that, they usually give you something for promoting their product, whatever it is. I don't know. So I wrote to them and said, well, I see that there are several American YouTube creators that are advertising your box, that they have a partnership with you. But I haven't spotted any Canadian ones. Now, there might be, I just don't know about them. And I said, well, I'm Canadian. I would be happy to do that. You know, can we talk? And Elizabeth, the owner of the company, I guess, wrote back to me and said, sure, she'd love to do something like that. So she sent me the information the other day. And essentially, she's given me a code to give. If you subscribe to one of the boxes, the first box you subscribe to, you get 30% off the subscription price. You can find out about the different subscriptions they have. Just plug into Google. I think it's just sewersclub.ca, and you can check them out. Now, I believe it's free shipping if you do the one that's the project box, but they do charge you shipping if you do the one that I've got, the stash box, which works out for me in Canadian dollars after tax and the shipping for it, $66.17 a month. But you can cancel anytime, and you don't have to take them out for a month. You can do it every month, or you can do it every other month, or you can do it every quarter as well. So I'm giving it a try. You get to curate what you get. You know, you can pick the colors you like. You can pick the kind of theme or the patterns you are interested in. If there's certain ones you don't want, like I clicked off, I didn't want anything with children or pets with it, and that's supposedly what they do. Now, I have heard a few people complain that they felt that their choices had been ignored. I don't know about that. So far, I have not been disappointed, so we'll see with it. But in the meantime, you know me, I won't tell you if it's something I don't like, I would not be part of it. And I wouldn't tell you to get it or, you know, to go for it. Now, maybe you want to know what the deal is. For everybody who subscribed, for each person that subscribes to it, I get $8. Woo! I'm not expecting, actually, what I was kind of hoping for is that I would get my monthly box free, but I guess that might not be the case at all. So I'll take it. However, you can cancel anytime. No strings attached. So, and as I said, right now I'm pleased with it, and it's a Canadian company, so I like to support my country with that, and that was one reason why I kind of thought, why the heck are you getting all? Well, I know why, because Americans it's a bigger purchasing base, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 330 million compared to 33 million here. So yeah, I could see why they want to promote it in the States as well. For the Americans, it's even cheaper because of the exchange. What they, you know, how much a Canadian dollar is next to an American dollar. So It's a better deal. I mean, in Canadian dollars, 15 fat quarters for $66. That's pretty good because the average fat quarter is running anywhere between $4.50 and $5 a fat quarter. So at $5, it's $75 before taxes. $66.17 is taxes and shipping. So it's actually a little less, even more less. That is not a good sentence. You know what I mean?
Even more or less.
Yeah, even more or less. Wow. Okay. Yeah. New phrase. More or less. More or less. Anyways, you know what I mean. And if you don't, I guess it doesn't matter. So, yep, that's my new sort of sponsor. Yeah, more about it on the Idiot Quilter next week. Okay.
Thanks for the extra happy birthday.
Everybody's giving you happy birthdays. I love you. Oh, yeah, Barb says she saw the news that Hazel McCullen passed away at 101, or McCallion, whatever. Yeah, this was the longest serving mayor in Canada. She was mayor of the city of Mississauga, which is right next door to Toronto, for I don't know how many years. Well over 30 or so with it. She was very well beloved in Mississauga as well. She was quite a character. But yeah, she was 101 and she was going strong right up to the end. So now, what did she die of?
Nobody really said. I kind of wonder if she passed away in her sleep, but I don't know.
Maybe. Well, the way to go.
Because she was still on some sort of committees and stuff like that. So it didn't sound like she had an illness that she died from other than old age. But
yeah. But, 101, pretty good. She was a spry old girl.
Get ready for maritime prices, $6 a fat quarter.
Was that?
Get ready. You better get ready for maritime prices, $6 a fat quarter.
Yeah, I know. We're spoiled here in Ontario. Well, there are some places in Ontario where it's as much
Probably
as that too.
yeah.
I mean, we're spoiled because of Ultimate Sewing. I think Ultimate Sewing is still selling theirs at $3.75 or something, maybe $4, which is
I
still.
think they're $4.
They $4 now?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's still really good. Gail's here. Hi, Gail. And she says, happy birthday, Walter. And Jeannie Lipsky is here. Hello, Jeannie.
And Lucy's asking if you taught English.
Yeah, I did, Lucy. Don't be funny. You know what they say, those that can't teach. And new Janice is here. She says, give us the information on the boxes so we can order. It will be in the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday, so you can check it there. But if you go, all you have to do is go right to Sewers Club, all one word, .ca, and the first thing that's going to come up are the subscription boxes. To get the 30% discount, you need to put in my name, just Stephen, and it looks like it's all in capitals. With a V. With a V. V for victory. Steven. And you'll get a 30% off your first box. Just looking at what people are saying. Hurricane Hazel, yeah, that's what they called her. It was 36 years, Barb says. And Lucy taught biology. Well, who was the girl in the class most likely to reproduce? In that. So, okay, moving on. Guess what's coming up, people? Wednesday, February the 1st. This Wednesday coming. Craft and Chat. It is that time, first Wednesday of the month, and this year, or this coming month, the first Wednesday is on the first day of the month. So it's pretty fast. Those of you on my mailing list, you've already got notice of this. And the link for it is in today's show notes, and it will be in all the show notes. Actually, it was in all the show notes last week as well for everything that I put up. So, yeah. So be there or be square. The fabric cupboard fat quarters are $5.25. See, on my way of thinking, that's a little pricey, but then somebody else said that in maritime prices are $6, so I guess that's a bargain. Price at my local quilt shop, Heidi says, is closer to $3 for a fat quarter, but yeah, at Fabricville, it's $5.99.
Fabricville is actually the online store for Fabricland. So, and everything at Fabricland is expensive.
Yeah.
We always call it the F store.
Where are you located, Heidi? I have forgotten. And Ron says Wednesday is a full day with the sew along also. Yeah, for those of you that are with on Stephanie and Steven's sew along, yeah, we do that in the morning. Although that only runs, it's not going to run very long because we're getting pretty much close to the end of the project already. But Ron's there, and I know there's a few others of you that are there too. So, yep, something for everybody on that. And that was the next thing I was going to talk about was Stephanie and Steven so long. So, people have been sending in what their work to date on that. So we've got some pictures to see. They're looking great. They're really turning out very nice. Jan says the coven will be there on Wednesday. Of course they will be. I mean, these picked prices, original stitches says, make me very happy for my fabric hoard. Yeah, I know. Shop your stash, right? To save bucks, but I still don't shop my stash. Although I haven't bought a lot of fabric lately. So I'm saving up for when we go out west. I don't know how I'll get it all in my suitcase, but
Yeah.
I'll find a way.
Just take an empty suitcase.
Yeah, I thought about that.
They'll lose it anyway. So.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Patsy says she has one quadrant done for the sew along. I've actually got all four quadrants done, sewn together, and today I put borders on it. Now, the pattern doesn't call for borders, but Stephanie and I were talking about that, and we kind of thought we'd like to put borders on it. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday, though. We're going to talk about finishing tips and things like that. So it is hanging on Lucy right now, ready to be layered on there and quilted. And there's a lot of negative space on this quilt, at least on mine, with the fabrics that I use. So I think I'm going to quilt it very densely. I just don't know what pattern yet I'm going to use. Sue's working on her last star right now. And Heidi says in the Maritimes, Fabricville is brick and mortar. Heidi's near Sussex, New Brunswick. Oh, okay. Actually, I'm so far in the hills, I hear banjos. Deliverance, anyone?
Yeah, well, the brick and mortar stores in Ontario for Fabricville are Fabricland, so, but they're the same company.
Yeah, and they're a brick and mortar store too.
Yeah,
here as well. We call it the F store.
I always assumed they were the Fabricville. When we see Fabricville online, that it's the Fabricville is the online version. I didn't realize they had any brick and mortar stores.
Unless it's a place totally different with the same name.
Well, that's a possibility.
It could be. But whatever. But yeah, so that's in New Brunswick near Sussex. Are we going to Sussex? I don't know where Sussex is. I'd have to look on the map.
I'd have to look on the map.
See. How far is Sussex from Moncton, Heidi? Because we might have a chance.
Well, we're stopping in Fredericton. We're stopping in Moncton.
Yeah.
And on the way back, we're stopping in St. John's.
Yeah. March says, my HSTs are all on the design wall right now. Yeah. This project's been going a lot faster than we had really anticipated, which is fine with it. But anyways, yep, we'll see you on Wednesday for it.
We'll need to rewatch Deliverance.
Been a long time. Yeah. Squeal like a pig. I only remember two things about that movie. That was one of them. The other one is the little toothless, mentally challenged banjo player. He was scary. They were scary. That movie was a scary movie. It was quite controversial in its day too, because
I had an English teacher that walked out on it, said it was too much for her.
Well, obviously she'd never seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
A bit of a prude, so.
God. Well, I know.
That was Ms. Mink.
Oh, I worked with her as a student
know.
teacher. Well, I could see her walking out. She was a prissy thing.
Yeah.
Wonder if she's still alive.
Don't know.
She'd be an age.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how old she was when I practice taught with her, but she was, well, even if she was like 35 then, I think she was older than that. God, she'd be ancient. Cut off her leg, count the rings. Kind of like what we did on your birthday. Oh, Joe Reed. Fabricville is the same company as Fabricland. Okay,
Yeah.
so it is. Okay. Thanks, Joe. Um, and Cheryl retracted a message. I always look at those and wonder, what did they really say? We don't know. Okay, so we went yesterday to another celebration of life. You know, last week we had a friend who had passed away back just before Christmas, who had been in the hospital since last May because he had a brain bleed and everything, and we thought he was getting better, and it turned out no, he was not. So we just got through that, and then we had another friend who just passed away. Well, just before Christmas as well. Christmas seems to be the season for it, from cancer. And so they had a celebration of life for him at a local community hall yesterday, and it was nice. They had food and things laid out, and some people, well, his partner, and then some of his family, uh, did some very touching speeches about him. It was kind of a tearful thing. Well, aren't they always? Whatnot. But you know, it's just I said to Walter, I'm getting so sick of celebrations of life. It seems like everybody we know is dropping dead from it. But we went to that, and just this morning, I don't think there'll be a celebration of life, but and I don't know if Sean, I don't think's on here today. He might be listening to this, but Sean, the guy who sews, one of his dogs passed away. I believe the dog had actually a heart attack, heart failure, on the whole bit. And of course, that's always sad too. I sometimes find it sadder when I hear about people's fur babies, as are they're called now, when they pass away than when a human passes away. I don't know what that says about me. But anyways, I just thought that's kind of sad. It always makes me think of when we lost Cleo. Well, we didn't lose her. We knew where she was. She was dead. But at the time. And I'm still get upset about that when I think about it. I miss her. I miss the little hairy beast. She was such a baby. But anyway, so that's kind of sad. So on a cheerier note, though, what did we do for Walter's birthday? Or what I should say is, what did Walter do for Walter's birthday? So Friday was Walter's birthday. So we had a friend came over. This was the other half of the one person, the friend of ours that had the brain bleed that had passed away before Christmas. He of course has been going through some difficult times, and of course last weekend was the celebration of life for that, and so we thought, well, we'll have him over for dinner, and we weren't really thinking about it being Walter's birthday because we're doing that tonight. We're going out for dinner. I'm taking Walter out at points for dinner to our favorite restaurant, the Keg. You've heard us talk about that before. So that's what we're doing. But in the meantime, we had this other fellow over for dinner on Friday night. And Walter decided that we were having steak. We're only going to a steakhouse, 2 nights later, but okay, we're having steak. So we have beef tenderloin, like good beef tenderloin from Costco, AAA Alberta beef, kind of in the freezer. But he went out to pick up a few things, which it never happens that Walter only picks up a few things when he goes out, especially to the grocery store. So he comes back in with 3 steaks. And what were they? They were strip
loin.
Strip loin. They were big.
Yeah, they were good size.
How much did those steaks cost you?
4 of them were $55.
Holy crap rolls. So it was a little bit overkill.
Yeah, I know.
Because we ate, between 3 of us, we ate 1.5 steaks. We're having fajitas tomorrow night. Love fajitas. So, anyways, Walter did them in the sous vide, but he used his new sous vide for the first time, the one I gave him at Christmas. Now, what was your...
I like it better than the other one.
Well, thank God. It cost me.
The other one I have is an inexpensive Instant Pot one, and this one is a Nova one. And the only thing I don't like about the Instant Pot one is that it sits on the bottom of the container that you put it on and tends to rattle, which annoys me. But this one hangs off and is suspended, so it doesn't hit the bottom, so it's not as noisy.
So, anyways, and
But
this,
I mean, they both work fine. They both work fine.
and this one has an app. Doesn't everything have an app?
Yeah, this one actually is Bluetooth, so you can control it from your phone. Not that it matters that much if you're in the same room. So
Okay, so you can control it from your phone. So what's that mean? Control
I
it?
can
Because-
change the temperature.
Oh. Oh, so if you're out and about grocery shopping and you've left your meat in the sous vide, you can check it and go, oh, I want it now at this. And doesn't it
Yeah.
have recipes or something?
It's got a little booklet, but it's just a guide.
I thought there was something though that was in the app that had.
Yeah, it has some stuff in the app. I have to look at that a little bit.
But anyways, everything's controlled by an app these days.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it. So, well, I'm very happy that you were happy with it. And the steaks came out great,
Yeah.
as they always do with the sous vide. So that was nice. So now it gives us a dilemma as to what we're going to order tonight at the keg, because we had steak Friday night.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I haven't well, I'm leaning towards the prime rib, because usually their prime rib's very good there too.
They use a thermostatically controlled water bath from the science lab to cook.
Oh, well, that's a sous vide.
Yeah, basically.
That's sous vide technology. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to having dinner tonight. But the problem is with the keg is they do team service. Well, all restaurants do that anymore, where you have like about 5 different people bringing you food and whatnot. So what we usually do is, because we eat incredibly fast, we could actually be in and out of keg restaurant in less than half an hour, 20 minutes, really. Which, when you're dropping, because it's not a cheap restaurant, when you're dropping that kind of money, you really want to, soak up the the atmosphere. There's a word. I can't think of it. Or say it. So, yeah. We usually put in for an appetizer. We have a drink, a cocktail. We don't usually have a cocktail, but we might have a cocktail. And have an appetizer, and then we'll put in our food order. And we always tell them that we don't want to order. Because what happens is they bang, there's your appetizer. And just before you're even quite finished it, bang, there's your main course and the whole bit. And then bang, there's the bill. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. 20 minutes or less. Okay. It's not Swiss Chalet. All right. Or Dairy Queen. So anyways, that's what I do. I know one thing I'm going to have for sure. I'm having the escargot. I love their escargot. There's nothing like juicy little snails in a.
I love the
sauce.
keg where you two live. If you're thinking of the keg's been rebuilt recently, so
Yeah, the one in Oshawa. They tore down the old one during COVID and they built a brand new one, much more modern. Because where it was here, what it used to be located in was another restaurant called the Crock and Block, way back from the 80s. Actually, the 70s. The 70s it was there. Because I remember going there with my parents when it was the Crock and Block. And the keg took it over eventually, or took over the building. And that building, they've been in there for quite a few years. So they ripped it all down, built a nice new modern facility.
I still miss the old one, but
Yeah, I like the old one.
I thought it had a little more atmosphere.
It had a little bit more character than the new one.
Yeah.
It's all very ultra modern now. I'm just backing up here to see what people say. Heidi says, I live almost perfectly centered between Moncton, Fredericton, and St. John, and I'd happily meet up with you two in any of them. Well, we'll talk, Heidi. We will talk. We're in Halifax for 3 days. And then we're in... No, but yeah, Fredericton, we're in what? Fredericton,
We're in Fredericton for 1 night, Moncton for 1 night, but we're in St. John for 2 nights. So
Okay, so we'll talk. Cheryl's blocks are on the design wall ready to be sewn together. Marianne's been so anal with this quilt it took apart and I'm starting again. Yeah, it was supposed to be easy. But I can't say much about it because you know what happened with me with it. So Mozilla says 9 in less than 3 years was more than enough for me. I am assuming you're talking about celebrations of life. And Barb says there's nothing better than Alberta beef. Yeah, I really like Alberta beef. Like, the Costco beef is Alberta AAA, like I said, and it's always good. Always good. Heidi keeps managing to sew the wrong edges together. Yeah, I know how that happens. Priscilla says you can never have too much steak. Well, you can. You know, what we do is we wait, Walter waits until he sees the best price, and we will buy, what is it, a slab?
A chunk. Well, a lot of times it's beef tenderloin. So if it goes on sale, whether it's the grocery store or Costco, it doesn't matter to me whether it's AA or AAA, because if the price is good, it's always tender anyway. So
yeah, so
and I'll buy a big chunk, and I've learned how to take all the fat off and everything else, and cut them up into steaks. So
yeah, that's what we usually do. And that usually lasts us quite a while because we'll only cook one of the steaks between the two of us.
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes we can have leftovers from it. So, but no, I'm really thinking, I'm leaning towards the prime rib tonight. Haven't had prime rib in quite a while. So, Gail says, question, what is on your shelf behind Walter? I love the colors. Behind Walter.
It's that's.
Are you talking about the lights, or are you talking about the 3D printed things? Because I'm not sure. Or are you talking about the quilts on the wall hangings? So what is it, Gail? Let us know with that, because I'm not sure which thing you're pointing out. Okay, so that's what we're doing for Walter's birthday. It was nice having Norm, that was his name, over on Saturday night, because Friday night, yeah, because he's alone now, kind of a thing. And he was telling us that he's going through a major adjustment, and it's not going to happen overnight with it all. So yeah, when you've been with somebody, he's been with the one who passed away 17 years, so it's a bit traumatic, to say the least. Oh, the 3D. Okay,
stuff.
so you mean the 3D stuff? Well, they are
mostly gnomes,
gnomes and my Buddhas. Yeah, there's gnomes and Buddhas up there. Yeah, I print junk, but I did print something though very practical this week, and Walter gave it his seal of approval. What was it? You bought, what were they, from Amazon? The cake cup.
Well, he got some coffee as a gift at Christmas time, and we use Keurig K-cups for coffee, because if we had a traditional coffee maker, we'd brew a pot and have a cup out of it. So
yeah,
this way we just have a cup whenever we want it.
We also have an espresso,
but too. So somebody gave us some loose coffee at Christmas time as a gift, and so I bought some reusable cake cups, and we've been I bought some more regular coffee, and I've been using them and refilling them a bit.
Yeah. So I was looking for it, like, you've got all these empty cups sitting on top of our toaster oven, actually, that we have. And I wanted something to neaten it up a little bit.
Yeah. So I collect, wait. I got a bunch of them. So wait till a bunch of them are empty, and then I'll refill them. So
yeah. So I thought, well, I was just going to throw them in a basket. But then I went looking. I thought, well, I was looking for something that was a decorative basket that I could print on my 3D printers. So I went to Thingiverse, and lo and behold, they had K-cup reusable cup holders, and there's like 4 in a setting, and they fit right into it. And you said it made it easier for filling them for the coffee and that. So
yeah,
I made 2 of these.
So it's sitting there, and I think they worked out pretty good. So you can make a practical print with a 3D printer. So that's a good thing. Teresa likes the keg. They do a good job. Original Stitches says her heart goes out to him. She wrote us when her husband passed. Yep. And Lucy says she'll have been married for 40 years this February. It must be hard to suddenly be alone. Yeah, I would think so. And Teresa uses the Keurig coffee maker and uses the reusable filters. But I add a paper filter too. Yeah, actually, she bought them on Amazon. Isn't that where you got them?
Yeah, I got them. I have a little stack of reusable, or not reusable, of paper filters.
The paper filters to go in.
Yeah.
Them. Yeah. Makes it a little easier when you're dumping them out.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
And plus, you don't get as much sediment in the bottom of your
cup.
Yeah.
And Mazel said, I just remembered our 36th anniversary is Wednesday. Well,
wow.
Happy anniversary. You know what they say? The first 50 years are the hardest. Yeah. So, moving on. Okay, here is a good one. Now, at the risk of upsetting some of you that may know nurses or be a nurse or in the health community yourself, and I trust that well, first of all, let me say this. If you're an anti-vaxxer, you don't need to say anything because I don't like you. Just being blunt, that's it. Okay, you can unsubscribe from me now. So, we saw on the news, I guess there's been a big protest meeting or something of a bunch of nurses that all lost their jobs during COVID. The reason they lost their jobs was they were given an ultimatum by the hospitals they were working in that said, you have to be vaccinated to work here. You have this much time to get that and to prove that you've been vaccinated, or your job will be terminated. Well, there was a whole bunch in there that thought, well, you're not going to get rid of us because we're frontline workers and you need us. No, they got rid of them. Now we have a problem here in Ontario. We have a shortage of nurses because of COVID and other factors around. So these nurses want their jobs back, but they're still not vaccinated. And they're putting up a protest saying, well, we can come back to work. We're qualified to do this. This is going to alleviate some of the problems and everything and the pressure on the healthcare system and everything. But the hospitals are saying they won't hire them back unless they get vaccinated. And they're saying that this is unfair, blah, blah, blah. Well, I say too in bad about that. Because you know something? You're working in healthcare. So you're dealing with sick people all the time. So wouldn't it be better if you were protected by having the vaccination? And on top of it all, you're not now a spreader either.
I mean, there's stuff that I had conditions for work when I first started working, when I was younger, a lot younger. And I may not have liked it, but I had to. Do stuff for work because it was part of work.
Yeah.
First time I went to work, it was even just a summer job. I had to go for a chest x-ray to make sure I didn't have tuberculosis and stuff like that. It was part of the medical thing that you had to do. And if you didn't do that, you didn't get a job.
So. Yeah, and it was the same for me as a teacher. When I first got hired for teacher, it was on the condition that I got tested for tuberculosis. And in the early years of my teaching career, they used to tell us we had to, as part of our contract, we had to be tested every 2 years, get a chest x-ray for tuberculosis. Now, I don't think they do that anymore, but at the time. And if you didn't, you were terminated. It was very simple, But what really gets my goat is now they're coming back and they're thinking that they can just get their jobs back. The hospitals have turned around now and said, no, that stipulation still exists. We are not budging from that. And good for them, because these nurses, these anti-vaxxed nurses, think they can hold the hospitals at bay for this because, well, you need us now. I don't know. Do we? Yes, we do. But there's others coming along to replace them too and do things. So no, we don't need Typhoid Mary in the critical care areas of our hospital or in any area of our hospital with that. I just thought the gall of these people makes me wonder, why are they in healthcare? They can't be the brightest bulbs, they're not the sharpest tool in the shed, if they have this kind of attitude about it. I mean, they work with disease all the time and sick people. Cripes. I don't know what it is about these people. So, Lucy says, I'm with the hospital in this. We have a shortage of nurses in our NHS. Please get vaccinated. Yeah. Mozilla says, don't the nurses get all the other vaccines for their job? Well,
I'm not sure about that.
Not sure. You would think it logically that they should, right? But I don't know. I mean, as a teacher, those kids, you've heard me talk about this before, children are disease carriers. They are just one walking disease after another. And as a teacher, I would get the flu shot every year and anything else. And if I needed any other kinds of vaccinations, I'd get them because I didn't want to get sick there. And I didn't want to spread anything. I mean, working really close with kids. You got 30 some kids packed into a small space in your classroom. And one starts to sneeze, they all sneeze. And you're just, you want to walk in wearing one of those hazmat suits or whatever they call it, because there's just spray everywhere. Children are gross. They are. Even teenagers. And that's what I was teaching. Teenagers especially. Teenage boys are absolutely filthy. There's no two ways about it. Just trying to get it back up here. Oops. Teresa says, when I was a volunteer in hospital as a teenager, I had to get a TB test and my vaccine had to be up to date. Yeah. And I would imagine there's still stipulations there, but why? But I do know nurses who will not get a flu shot.
Well, I know, some PSWs were complaining about getting the flu shot.
Yeah. And these are supposed to be educated people about diseases. You can't get the flu from the flu shot. It's basic grade 9 biology about how vaccinations work. You can have a reaction.
Yeah, but I think that the whole story would be different if COVID killed 99% of the people that got it. And then you would see people lining up for the shots. I know that.
Well, obviously nurses are gamblers then, the anti-vaxxer ones. Spin the big wheel, see what happens. Original Stitch says, in BC, a lot of the young nurses out of school were still on call, and now a lot of them have full-time jobs due to the ones that were let go because of their choices. And we're still short. Yeah, well, I think that's what's happening here as well. There's Danny on it, everybody. So not an expert, everybody. So we already talked about you, Danny, and I'm trying to send people your way as well. So hopefully they will, after they see the interview anyways, if not before. We got to boost your subscribers up there. So Terry says it's a difficult call. I say they should comply, but as a retired Department of Ed person, I wouldn't want to be forced. Personally, I would comply. I want to live and don't want to kill anyone. Well, they're not being forced. They're being given a choice. And there's the choice. Get a vaccination, keep your job. Don't get vaccinated, lose your job. That's the choice. So, and I think it's very black and white. I really do.
I mean, they can't hold you down and give you a shot, but it becomes a condition of employment.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is still true, but it used to be that airline pilots couldn't fly if they had to use corrective lenses.
Yeah.
It's a condition of employment.
Yeah. Cheryl says she had to get tested every year for TB when she worked as a nurse. And Teresa says the hospital need nurses, yes, but not if they're carrying bugs. Exactly. Because that's really doing more damage than contributing to a more positive environment if they're not vaccinated. So, yeah, you're just making it a bad situation worse. The COVID shots, Catherine says, does not prevent COVID or prevent it from spreading it. No, it doesn't, Catherine, but it helps. It's not 100%. And I'm sorry. Don't anybody argue with me about this. I've told you this already. I am not feeding into this. To me, it is extremely black and white. You get the shot.
I mean, when I think people have too many options these days. They think they have too many options.
Well, too many people think they have they have all these rights.
Yeah.
Like get a grip, people.
Like at one point in time, stewardesses had to be a certain height to fly in the airline, and the condition of employment was a specific height. And there are jobs around that you have to meet certain specifications to be able to be employed.
Yeah.
And if you don't meet those specifications, then you're not employed. And if in this particular case, if the hospital decides that a COVID shot is going to be a specification to be part of your job, then it's up to you to decide what to do.
Yeah. I mean, and there's disease aside and everything, there are many jobs out there where the terms of employment there are things you have to do to be employed with it.
Like, I mean, to be, let's say, if you work in a job field like your job and that,
Yep.
you had to have a certain amount of education
Yeah.
to get the job
Or I
and
couldn't
stuff
get the
like
job.
that. So it's your choice. You either get the education or you don't.
And I don't consider these things an infringement on your personal rights, because if you really think about it, you could scream that everything is an infringement on your personal rights if you don't agree with something. Well, suck it up, Buttercup, because that's how life works. Okay?
Like, I mean, if I want to drive a car, I have to have a driver's license, right? I mean, I could drive a car without a driver's license, but I'd be breaking the law. So.
That's right. I mean, that's the whole part of an ordered society. You need that. So, yeah, I have no sympathy for those nurses.
And if you want to drive a car for a company, you have to have a specific type of driver's license to do that.
Yeah. Heidi says she recovered. She just recovered from COVID. The only booster I was missing was the bivalent. I cannot say that one. Bivalent one. But my husband brought it home from work. I was very sick and glad that the symptoms were milder because of the jabs. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's no guarantee you're not going to get it. Okay, with it. But it's the effects of it. They have shown that if you get it and you're fully vaccinated, that the effects are milder than whatever you could get, like death. BC is so short on docs and nurses. Drives me crazy. We still have no docs.
Yeah, we have that here in Ontario. Lots of people don't have their doctors.
Yeah, thank you, Judy. Teresa says, we always had a fuss over getting the flu shot too. It was strongly recommended, but never was mandatory. I say, give me any shot you got. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, Steve and I both got the flu one year really, 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 really bad. And ever since then, we've always gotten a flu shot because I don't want to, if I want to do anything I can to avoid getting that sick again.
Yeah, because we were so sick that we were passing in and out of consciousness. We're in 2 separate bedrooms. We had things coming out of every orifice. We had to wear diapers, the whole bit. That's how sick we were. And every now and then I'd wake up and I'd yell out, "Are you still alive?" And then I'd hear this faint voice, "I think so." And then you pass out. I had never been that sick in my life. And that's quite a few years ago now. But ever since then, we make sure we get the flu shot every year. Every year.
I mean, if it doesn't help, then at least I could turn around and say, I did everything I could to try and prevent it.
Yeah. I think if these things are there and they're approved, by the government, by the health care system in our country, then I think it behooves you not to take advantage of it. Especially in our country, these shots are free. So, free in the fact that it's covered by, our taxes kind of a thing. But nevertheless, so I don't know what these, see, I think there's a deeper, what do you want to say, a deeper concern or something in these nurses. Forget the fact they're nurses and think of them about human beings. who have their heads in a hole, and they're the anti-vaxxer, the truck driving protesters on Ottawa kind of mentality. What do they think they're going to gain? What do they think is going to happen? Do they think the government's going to turn around and say, oh, we're so sorry, we want you back to work. Here, come back. You don't have to do anything that we recommend or what we've suggested at all. We're so sorry about that. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So it makes me question the intelligence of these people, which scares me. Because is this the kind of person I want if I was in the hospital looking after me? I don't know. I don't know about that.
Marcel said hi to Heidi. Was glad I had all my jabs. Hubby dragged it home. Maybe dragged it home from grocery store beginning of January. And Marilyn says, when I worked in the hospital as an RN, which was 20 years ago, we had to get every shot imaginable. If there was a shot for it, we were required to get it. I don't understand this anti-vax stuff either. No. And Marianne worked in healthcare and had to have all of the vaccines.
I think the vast majority of people obviously took it because not everybody got fired.
No, that's right. So, and like everything in protests and that, it's usually a minority.
Says, I know nurses that still smoke. Yeah, there's nurses and doctors that still smoke, even though they're giving advice not to.
Yeah, and so Terry says doing something in this case is better than doing nothing. People were dying. Yeah, exactly. Green Quilt says, we got our vaccines at school. Of course, medical staff need to be as well. Yeah, well, we used to get our vaccines at school too. And are you talking about it from the kids' point of view? But there's a lot of problems with people not getting their kids vaccinated. We've talked about that before too, for one reason or another. And that's not good. And then Lucy says, to begin with, in the UK, people were very ill with COVID and long COVID. The vaccine uptake was higher among older age groups. Yeah, let's not get a vaccine. Let's kill grandpa by having a visit. People don't understand there are consequences to their actions. No shot equals no job, period. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very black and white. And just because the rules don't suit you personally doesn't mean it's a violation of your rights. Everything has rules. That's how ordered society works.
And rules sometimes change, so.
Yeah. And Terry says, agreed, Stephen. We are all dough in the family. All dough in the family. I'm not sure what dough means. We all got vaxxed, and I normally wouldn't have. We didn't want to get sick or make someone sick. Yeah, well, that's being a responsible citizen. I've said that before too. And Priscilla has just had her 4th shot for COVID. We've had 5, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've had 5 now. Wonder when they're coming up with the next one. Yeah. She said, original sister says, my mom is 84 with COPD, and this argument just irks me. Yeah. They need to be protected. And Nancy said her husband had a stroke after the 2nd vaccine. The cardiologist said they were finding a large number of people having strokes from the vaccine. Okay, well, that may have happened to him, and I think there were some people that had things like that. But when you say a large number, large number, what do you mean percentage of what of the population that had a vaccine had a reaction? Some people are going to have reactions. There's no two ways about it. Because even with the flu shot.
And there are people that were may have been ill, had an underlying illness that suddenly presented itself after a vaccination.
I mean, it's terrible that happened to your husband, Nancy. There's no two ways about it. But, and I would say if a nurse who didn't get the vaccine but could prove medically that she actually would be harmed by having it because of a medical condition or something like that, well, I say that's something different. Okay, but they have to prove that. It's not just their word. They have to have the proper documentation for it. And there are some people
and like I mean, if the medical profession has said that, I mean, they're not. If there was a large number of people that would have these medical conditions occur, then there'd be probably no way that the hospitals would vaccinate everybody, because the chance of that happening would be far too great.
Yeah. Well, Teresa has another example. She says she has an uncle who's a pilot. He still flies at 70 years. Often he'll have to decline a flight because the pilot and co-pilot can't both be old. Call it ageism, but it's only common sense. There's rules, right? And it's a safety thing. It's a safety thing. And then Heidi says, you know what else doctors have found has caused an increase in strokes? COVID. Yeah, true. Stephanie says, and for those of us who cannot get it due to health issues, we need you to help. Yeah, because the more people, like there are people who can't have the protection of the vaccine because of the health conditions. Well, we're doing our part then by those of us that can have it, we should have it to decrease the chances that we're going to transmit it or, whatever. And vaccine technology isn't new. We've had vaccines before around. This one's been particularly challenging, yes, because of the strains and everything. But this isn't a new science out there. So there are exceptions to this, but they are medical exceptions. Yeah, well, there's no guarantee you won't get the flu, right? If you take the flu shot, but your chances are still better. And we all have horror stories, don't we, Teresa? Also had a nursing colleague who died after contracting a disease from her patient, from symptoms to 2 dead in 3 days. Left her hubby and 2 young kids. Yeah, see? You need the protection. It's a dangerous job. You're amongst sick people. I'm just looking here. And Heidi says it's a huge part of why I got vaccinated and why I stayed home until I was no longer infectious. The bugs stopped here, period. Yep. Yeah, some people just don't care. Yeah, that's true. Yep. And Ijar said she started out as a healthcare volunteer at 14. We were required to be TB tested. There was a chickenpox outbreak that summer. Children were hospitalized and most of New York went into quarantine. Yeah. Oh, DOE, Department of Ed. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. It is that attitude, which seems to be, everybody seems to be entitled these days, don't they? It's, as you said, it's the don't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. Well, somebody needs to be with some of these people.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, thanks everyone for birthday wishes. I didn't necessarily single out every single one, but I mean, I appreciate all your birthday wishes.
Yeah. And happy birthday, Walter. He was 2 years old at the time. Yeah, so I mean, I think these nurses are just, they're betting on the fact that there is a shortage. We have they keep calling it a crisis in healthcare, but the crisis has been created by our government here in Ontario, because they want everybody to go to private clinics now. Oh, they're telling us it's not going to cost you anything at all, but it'll take the stress off the healthcare system. Yeah, you'll get upgrades. We talked about this a week ago or so about it. Yeah, that you may be able to go in and have some procedure done, but then there'll be recommendations that you also need this. Sort of like taking your car into the dealership. You go in for an oil change, you come out with 4 new tires and an engine flush as well, which you probably didn't need with it all. So that's what's going to happen with it. They're trying to break the healthcare system. Why? Because there's big money to be had in the healthcare system, and the people who support breaking the healthcare system are the people who are making the most money from it. It's how capitalism works, apparently. So, yeah, something's got to give on all of that. And now, the government has put something new in. Yesterday, when I was in picking up my prescription at the Shoppers Drug Mart, I noticed the sign. Pharmacists now can write you a prescription like a doctor would for UTIs, for other.
Female UTIs, they can't do it for me.
Oh, it just said UTI.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's interesting. And they had a list of other things they could write you a prescription for different things. But apparently they also had a website thing you needed to go to book for something like this. That's just the government, again, passing, because we have a shortage of doctors, or doctors aren't taking, new patients and stuff like this. So for minor ailments, you can get them to write you a prescription. Okay, but those places are not doing that for nothing. It's not maybe going to cost you, if you live here in Ontario, you directly for it, but the pharmacy is not doing it for nothing. The government has a deal with them where for every prescription they write, they can charge it back to the government and get paid. It's the same with what they do with flu shots and COVID shots. If you get them at the pharmacy, it doesn't cost you anything, but the pharmacy puts it back to the government. The government pays for it, and essentially we in Ontario are paying for it because that's our tax money. It's our tax dollars at work, don't you know?
Teresa, you said, I don't see doctors taking on the cost of running their own clinic and getting the same pay as OHIP.
No.
You're correct, but I don't necessarily see the doctors creating these clinics. I see a big corporation that produces knee implants or produces
that's
accessories or
and
something like that, creating a clinic, hiring doctors, and that's where they can upsell all their items to patients.
Well, we've had private clinics for years too here in Ontario, as well. But now what they're saying is, like, okay, very first colonoscopy I ever had done, my doctor, my family doctor, told me, okay, he says, you can go to the hospital and have this done, but there's a longer wait time for that. Or he said, there's a clinic. He referred me to a clinic in the area. That's all they do is colonoscopies. But it was going to cost me at that time, this is like about 15 years ago, he said, but it's going to cost you $50. But you'll get in much sooner than in a hospital. So he was recommending that, so I went by my doctor's recommendation. And so that's an example of that kind of thing. Now, I think it costs more than that now, because when you had yours done, you had it done private clinic-like.
The last one I had done in the hospital. And in fact, the one that I had recently done, they told me the wait time to get into a private clinic was longer than the wait time to get into the hospital.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I went through the hospital, and they made it sound like the private clinic would be preferable because it would be you get treated better or something like that. And I found actually I got treated better in the hospital than I did in the private clinic, and I didn't have to pay anything.
Okay. Because when I had my colonoscopy done that time, the first one at this other, whoa, they were smooth. I mean, it was an assembly line kind of thing, but they were very, like you knew what was going on every step of the way. And the way they had it all done, I thought it was actually, I found it a very comfortable atmosphere with it. So I thought to myself, because at the time they were saying the colonoscopies in the hospital were horrible and the whole of it, but I don't know. I guess
I have had one in a private clinic and one in the hospital, and I found it on a hospital was just as good.
But you don't know. But it's corporations that create these clinics.
That's what I could see happening. I could see it's a corporation that has a vested interest in upselling things and stuff like that may open one of these private clinics, or even a pharmaceutical company or something.
Oh, you can bet a place like Shoppers Drug Mart's going to be in on this at the ground level, too. They're already, if they can write prescriptions and they can give shots and things like that, this is just a small leap to now incorporating a clinic system as well. Yeah. M says, may I say, urge your governments not to get to hold China accountable. We are in this for a reason. May I say, urge your governments not to forget to hold China accountable. Well, That is something that is unspoken in this country because already people have attacked our Asian community over COVID. And in Canada, we are very, very, we try to be very much aware of, racism, discrimination, things like that. We have laws and that kind of thing. And so, to whitewash a country or a culture and say it's their fault for COVID. I mean, we'd like to, wouldn't we? We'd like to have a scapegoat for this whole thing. And of course, it seemed to have started in China, so it's very easy to make that leap, but it's a very dangerous leap. Very dangerous leap, I think, because, where does it stop then? The next new thing that comes along, you're going to start blaming a certain population for it, and that's just going to cause a whole lot more conflict in the world, and we've got enough of that, don't we, right now? So I don't know. I agree with you, Lucy. I don't think we should blame China for it. Oh yeah, of course the Westons, which is Shoppers on it, will be out for the buck. Of course, they're the richest family in Canada. So yeah. No, M says that's why I said it. Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, it's just, are we ever going to get off this whole thing with COVID? I don't know.
I think it'll be in addition to the flu thing.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. That's what I said. I'm waiting for the 6th shot now when they come out with that. I mean, they've got something now, but it's for a limited population. And
oh, you mean the antiviral pill?
Yeah. With it, which I think we qualify in the group for, but you said that, yeah.
I'm not sure how you get it. I don't think we had to pay for it. I think you had to, yeah. I'm not sure how you get it because I thought you have to have symptoms before you can get it. So
well, that's a little late.
Yeah.
Oh, well, who knows? But anyways, that's just the state of the world here in Ontario, Canada. Everything's out. So yeah, Canada the good, not so much these days. Anyways, we have a dinner reservation in less than an hour to get to. So there's a bunch of little slimy snails with my name on them. So we'll have to say goodbye. So thanks everybody for joining us today.
Well, thanks for the birthday wishes.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget to check out everything that comes up next week. And definitely on Tuesday, it will go live. The interview I did with Danny from So Not an Expert. You're going to love it. You're going to love her. She's a great person. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. I had a good time today on her live. Yeah. So we'll see you then. And don't forget about Craft and Chat on Wednesday as well. Starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll see you all soon. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.